Hi, this is Craig and welcome back to Cruising Off Duty. If you've been watching the channel, you know I took an Xquisite X5, a 50-foot catamaran, and sailed it from Cape Town, South Africa, across the equator, all the way to the Caribbean. It was an amazing adventure, and you're not going to want to miss this episode because some really unique things happen. No longer are we sailing those beautiful sunny skies that we saw when we first left Cape Town. We are in full-on Antarctic current here with fog so thick we can barely see our hand in front of our face. We see fishing boats on the radar, but we can't see them with our eyes. It's kind of spooky. And then when we get to Walvis Bay Namibia, it's just crazy what happens. We get 5-6 pelicans landing on our boat. We get a seal jumping on the back of our boat as we're moving at about 6 knots. It's insane. So you're not going to want to miss it. Before we get into this episode, I just want to thank my patrons, some of which have been around since the beginning of the channel, long since before I was doing any of these transatlantic voyages. And in this particular voyage, a bunch of sponsors that jumped on board to help defer the costs of me flying halfway around the world and spending 8 weeks away from my regular job. Thanks so much. I couldn't have done it without you guys. And without any further ado, let's get on to this episode.
We anchor and hoist the sail.
Good morning and welcome to day 5 of sailing to Namibia. Well, across the Atlantic, but first goal is Namibia. We're getting really close to Walvis Bay. Again, super cold, foggy. Tomas is out with me here. You notice that there's a bunch of boats showing up on radar. None of them show up on AIS. And they're getting really, really close, but we can't see them. Tomas says this is not uncommon for African fishing boats to not have AIS. So in fog like this, you've really got to keep your eyes peeled. Thank God for radar, at least. Otherwise, we would have never seen them. So we're heading here. We were originally heading like right into them, and then we veered. I thought they should at least have radar and see us coming, but nobody's come on the radio to even warn us that we're getting close. Anything?
No, not yet.
There should be to our left. We're gonna veer back a bit.
Interesting between everybody.
Yeah, trying to thread the needle. It's a little freaky that these guys are just out here in the fog. No foghorns, no AIS, no obvious lights. We just got out of darkness too. It was pitch dark like less than an hour ago. So yeah, to me this seems a bit unnerving because like the fog is so thick and the boats are probably just over a mile away from us, and there's about 5 of them. 4 to our left and 1 to our right. We're trying to weave in between them, but you can see Tomas is out there just trying to pick up anything, like a light or something, a sound. It's just kind of crazy that these guys are just out here in the fog, making no effort to be seen or heard. Oh, and it's so cold out here. Oh, that's a little thing.
Barely see it.
That's just a tiny boat.
It's really
that can't be the one on the radar, is it?
No, it is on the radar, of course. That's one of them on the radar.
He's really small.
Yeah. I mean, you really hardly see it, but you wouldn't know that it's there. Because
Yeah.
on the radar, you would not see it.
Yeah. You can barely see, I don't know on camera if you can see it, just straight out there, there is a ghost of a ship. I thought it would be bigger. Maybe that's why they don't have AIS. They're not that big. They're like, I guess, little family-owned fishing boats.
But I only seen one for a second. I even lost it now.
Yeah, just a ghost for a second. Still quite eerie that there's boats in the mist and the fog. And we can't see them, but we can see them on radar. They seem to be just drifting, which is good, because if they were flying through the fog, pulling a big net, it'd be hard to decide how to get through them because they'd be zigzagging all over the place. Tomas, poor guy. He's a warm weather sailor. He even admits it. He hates sailing in the cold. It's probably not, being a Canadian, it's probably not that cold. Like it's probably, I don't know, 12 degrees, 11 degrees, but it's so damp and the wind it's just so cold. We're following an Antarctic current up the African coast, and that's why it's so cold. So it's a really wet, cold wind. Still nothing. In fact, the fog is getting denser. It's getting closer to our boat. Yeah, they're almost beside us now.
Yeah.
We're past them.
We haven't really seen them at all, huh?
No, I said that. I said there's a good chance we'll go right by them and not even see them. They're like, look, they're almost past us now. Maybe they saw us on radar and kind of moved out of the way. I don't know.
I doubt they would move out of our way.
You never radioed us to say, hey, hope you see us. All right, so you're not used to this kind of cold weather sailing, are you?
My motto is we're not here to suffer. You know, for this weather is way too cold. I think this is the coldest morning so far.
And we're the furthest north that we've been, and it's still getting colder, right?
Yeah, it's the current. The water is so cold, that's why the fog is. We're in the Benguela current running north from the Antarctica, and that's why it's so cold, the water, and it creates the fog in the morning.
Yeah.
And there might be something that I see. So I just touched the stainless, holding on for it. I felt my hands is freezing to the stainless.
To the stainless steel, yeah.
Let me just run up
Yeah.
because I think I see the floor or something.
He always says to us, sailing should be enjoyable, and sailing in cold latitudes is just not fun. I said, if I ever pick up a sailboat in South Africa, I'm going to leave when it's not their winter. Oh, I see a boat out there. See it?
No.
Right there.
I see it now, yeah.
Yeah.
Fishing boat.
Yeah. Okay.
We're sailing in the fog here, approaching Walvis Bay, almost there, when we realized that we might have a stowaway on board.
Okay, we were just getting close to Walvis Bay in Namibia. Last night, it's foggy, of course, and couldn't see anything. But one thing I did notice is, even though we were fairly close to the shoreline of Namibia, there wasn't any city lights or anything. You couldn't tell. You can sort of see the shoreline there. We're starting to see we're getting into an industrial area. There's a little rig, some freighters. But I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of this constant fog. So I guess that's what you get when you following the Antarctic current all the way up along the west coast of Africa. The air is warmer than the water by far. So we're going to be in Walvis Bay for at least 2 days. I'm guessing it'll probably end up being 3 days. We got a provision. They want to service the boat, see if there's anything that needs to be adjusted. We're going to go ATVing through the dunes, which should be cool. And then, of course, the time it takes to check in and check out. And of course, we're going to do a little bit of reprovisioning, stock up on some food, because it's probably cheaper here on the mainland of Africa than it will be at St. Helena Island in the middle of the Atlantic, because I'm sure everything there is super expensive. Yeah, looking forward to ATVing in the dunes. Never done anything like that. So yeah, check that out. It'll definitely be a future episode. I'm dressed up like I'm on the deadliest catch. I mean, I've got like layers and foul weather gear, and of course my life jacket. It's not exactly the crossing the equator type of attire I was looking forward to, but it'll come. It'll definitely come. Steve had a good point. He said this could be a scene out of Mad Max. Little rusty, derelict looking boats. And I don't know if it's going to come up on the camera, but look at all the jellyfish. Seriously, everywhere. Jellyfish. You definitely can't swim in this water. Not that you want to near this disgusting industrial port. Let's look at all the jellyfish. I'm guessing whatever pollutants, filth, and whatever comes out of this area, it must be nutrients or food for the jellyfish to eat. Thousands of them. At least we're not in fog. First time in a few days.
We got out of the cold current.
Yeah.
In the moment we got out of it, you could see that it was continuing.
See the fog bank over there? Yeah, that's on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other side of land. That's all that fog bank. That's correct. That's above the cold current. Not a honeymoon destination for sure.
No.
Water temperature.
At least we have sun. Although you wouldn't know this from the video, but the air is still really, really cold. Oh, here comes a pelican.
Oh yeah, I think we're going to get pelicans.
Pelican. Here we go.
Oh, here we are.
Look at that. You got that on video? Oh!
That's insane. That is so cool.
Another one coming. Another one coming.
Incoming! Oh, he's gonna land on his buddy. Oh, oh, that's hilarious. That is so funny.
on the step.
Oh my goodness. Holy shit. What is going on here? It's like the Galapagos Islands or something. Oh no. This is insane. Jesus, Mr. Robin, that is insane. We got pelicans on the bow.
Tomas, you might have been joking about bringing Sarah here, but maybe you will.
Look at this. Pelicans on the bow. Hello. And a seal on the stern. He like wants to come up.
Hey, he's coming up. He's coming up. Steer him back.
Oh, he's staring him back with the beanbag. No! We're being swarmed by pelicans now. This is insane. Look at this. This is insane.
This one's good.
Who said this wasn't a honeymoon destination?
I think you're bringing Sarah here.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Tomas said he's never had a honeymoon with Sarah and he's going to bring her here from now on.
This is amazing. This is truly amazing.
Oh, he's going back in. 3, 2, 1, boom. Over the side. That is insane.
Smile for the camera.
They're huge, eh?
These are big birds. These have got like a 6-foot wingspan. They're about 3 times the size of the pelicans you get in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Seal just over
That's a
here.
seal in the water. It's hard to get excited about that when there's already been one on the back of your deck. And I heard this guy, look at him, he's really curious.
See ya.
Oops.
There's another one coming out as well. That's just a float.
I know, he's super curious. He didn't know how to get on the back of the boat though. Look at you, so pretty. All right, we're using the hard rib for the first time. We'll see how all 5 of us fit in this thing. Okay, we got to shore on a really sketchy dinghy dock. And yeah, this is what we are greeted with. Industrial, to say the least.
It's tropical. It's literally palm trees. Look at the mouse couch.
A couch all by itself. This is quite the establishment. One couch. Got a ride from friendly guy.
How long have you been here, Mark?
It's now 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
We got a ride from this nice guy Mark, who has a tour company.
No, because I know you ordered it. That was
And now
2
we're-
miles.
That was a long way. That was not a kilometer. So we have Home Affairs, Immigration, and Customs. So let's hope this isn't too much of a runaround. And the paperwork begins. You'll be happy to know that Namibia was one of the easiest, quickest, and cheapest, because it was free, custom processes of any of the countries we visited on this entire voyage. And as an added bonus, Tomas wasn't considered an undesirable in this country, which is always a good thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about there, go back and check out When We Leave Cape Town episode. It was pretty funny. Okay, you're going to want to check out the next episode, especially if you're a sailor and you have a water maker on your boat. We have a little issue, and we weren't sure if it was because we sucked in a jellyfish or what the problem was. We get to the bottom of it. And then, of course, those great epic views of us taking these off-road vehicles through the dunes. It is definitely kind of like one of those once-in-a-lifetime things. And if you're in Namibia, you definitely have to check this stuff out. It's vast, it's beautiful, and blasting up and down these dunes in one of these off-road vehicles is full of adrenaline. It's definitely a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I'm definitely gonna have to bring Janice back when we come by this way again, because when she sees this video, she's not gonna allow the fact that I'm the only one that's done it. Anyways, that's it for now. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you did, show the channel some love by giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of those episodes. And until next time, this is Craig signing off, wishing you safe cruising, and ciao for now.
Weigh anchor and hoist the sail.